German James Sabit number Chokolvanyuma yogedde ku nsonga ezikwatagana ne Parliament mwagiregedde ababaka ng'agamba nti bangi ku bo enteesa yaabwe ya kibogwe.
When you go to the House and when you are chairing the sessions of Parliament, and then you look at the way the debate is, people just come and they walk into the chamber and they start debate, which require no research. And that is why you spend a lot of time, everybody wants to speak on these same things, which is not good. I read the Hansard one day, read the Hansard of the 1960s Parliament. And
you thought of it.
And yet politics does not social transformation, social mobilization.
Ne government obutateeka nsimbi nnyingi mu kutumbula ebyobulambuzi. Abaka bangi baludde nga bakolokotolanya nga bagamba nti ebiseera bingi.
Ziro lwaleero weetabe mu kanyomero kaffe akakiki kyolowooza nga tukubuuza oba Speaker Jacob Olanya okugamba nedda ku Facebook abantu batandise dda okuwa ennyuma okuwumulamu kero ekkulu e Makerere gye bakedde enkya ya leero
olukira ku gate enkulu eyingira mu Makerere balabiddwako nga basomooza poliisi ebadde bagana okutuuka ku gate eno. Bano basi poliisi amaanyi ne bagisindikiriza.
We shall not open no.
Mu Kampala Felix Kaweesi okwesogga akafubo ky'okuwa
zijja kusigala naffe aba management.
And you could be in conditions apply.
Osula n'omuwala albino embeerera
kabambi olw'okubanga abasawo b'ekinansi abagala okusaddaaka mbu bafune obugagga.
Twali tetumanyi nti omwana ono
olw'okuba wazaalibwa ng'oli Namagoye.
Jaga mu municipality y'e Masenzigo takubya ti lino singopeeki.
Oluvannyuma lw'empaka z'ekikopo ky'ensi yonna okuendereza bannayo bunkenke nga kirowoozebwa nti akandigwe
katezinnagibwako.
I'd like to hear more.
Fired this morning.
Again. Lanya lashing up, speaking from his office.
It's rare for the that should be
in the 9th
Parliament management
Court Martial to strike. Blamed the problem on a technical glitch and promised to pay up the demanded sums this week. Florence Nalimba with more.
Even before pregnancy, women are encouraged to visit health facilities as frequently as possible in preparation for a safe birth. This mother of three, 29-year-old Mirembe, has been doing exactly that. But with a fourth child on the way, she was turned away at Kawala Health Center 3, here in Kampala.
I came at 2 a.m. The night nurse informed us of a strike by the health workers. She told each of us to find a solution away from the health center.
3 main delays caused death.
As you cannot predict which mothers are going to have an infant.
Mirembe says she was
and chased us.
Mother moved away to seek alternative help. Got on a motorbike,
but they told us we need to
also left.
Matters on involvement, especially on how of Kampala Lord Mayor Arias Lukwa by councillors allied to KCCA executive
7 at his country home in Rachtura, and the KCCA executive director and the opposition attended. A number of councillors entered the councillor Brohanbia
to turn towards his side. So what you
was being accused of
Marco to do if she doesn't win this World Cup. Messi will do. So if you ask, we go to the Swiss, the bush and pray from notorious. No, but he has answer in so because he has had, I think it's important. I'm not man said this is not a time to make new enemies. I don't know where I'm going. I may find that the devil is in charge. So likewise, wait a minute.
Because then you'll be making new enemies.
I have an ad hoc committee report that is asking for the extension of at this point in time, I would not want to make any such comments as regard to the quantity.
But I see your point, Brian. Yeah, there's a bunch of good guys in that house. Yeah,
yes.
But I'll tell you, there's a good number of people in that house that are thinking, really, what are these people doing there? And slowly but surely, it is eating us up. It looks insidious, but with time we are going to pay heavy. David. So I think it's a big parliament. But I hope, like you're saying, this gentleman can take action and say, look, as a speaker, he can ignite this debate, you know. Well, he might be put on record, he might be forward.
Tororo, municipality MP, I think Ms. Municipality MP, I don't even know the constituencies, but Geoffrey Ekanya is mooting a private member's bill to reduce the size of parliament, and that would be good. I mean, coming from a man that has been, for all the time I have known Geoffrey Ekanya, he has been an MP, and that I'm talking about in the last 15 years, so that we're talking about 3 terms. I mean, if I were him, that's the kind of caliber of person that would be leading this kind of position. But you see, the parliament's not the only one that seems to be lacking skills. According to the Daily Monitor this morning, the Minister for Agriculture says the Uganda People's Defense Forces, listen to this, lack skills to run NADs. Wow. And there is an interesting picture of him handing over a trophy to the Uganda Prison Services, as if to say that the Uganda Prison Services have better skills to run NADs, because the best and most efficient farms to sell across. I think this is the kind of institution is also wanting. So if you now move some with prison warders,
it's true that the army, for me, in the army, they are farmers. If you have the skill, the question should be not to protect us. Breakage of systems, and we need to build the systems, you know, because this here to that system, as it were.
Well,
it says I told God break the rules, who are always nice.
Because of conflict of interest, there is a sport.
Never done sport on the segment that
detail, please, just like we do with our studies, and let's debate the game of
golf. You see, golf is no. It takes a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
So what I did, for golf, we can try out behind the cameras. But it was very good that
when I talked about German efficiency, I want to tell you that in German they do tax them. If you went to the big sex district called the Reeperbahn somewhere in Hamburg, clearly you find that the business there is, you know, I can imagine what the trade was like between Sunday night and today. I want to believe that it's still going on.
But this is actually, they call themselves Nekolera Jang.
Yes. But that's because in Western countries it's legal, so you have, and they have all this computerized system. Here, what will you do? There are brothels down in Katwe. You know, how do you follow up?
In Tinder of late, I was shocked. I didn't think it would happen in Tinder, but in Tinder at certain odd hours of the night, I said
3 things. You, Joel Senyonyi, what were you doing?
No, I was from a late meeting. So I was from a late meeting. As I went through Tinder, I saw the ladies. I said, "Oh, Mukama."
Let's go. No. Because now I wanted to ask how much. Because I'm sure you must have all these details and possibly, you know, the kind of service.
No, but years back, I did engage one. I just needed to find out a little bit. You know, I paid them for their time as a journalist. You know, I wanted to find out how they do their thing. And
there
at like 6:30, yeah, they are coming to work, and you think.
By the way, actually,
core of the key performance.
They enjoy it. It's because they are hard pressed. They don't think they can.
By the time you procure these services, clearly, you are hard pressed. So you would love to do the same. If it is, it would give.
I mean, put
or Argentina. Of course,
in Cairo, for the very first time, women bishops have been approached bishops. So even as early as the end, now William Hague here is continuing to lead the House of Commons as special representative. Oscar Pistorius has sent to make someone feel better. You may not be able to see his live in pain in the river of Gazi attack. He was
to the countries of the East and Central Africa region. What makes the port of Mombasa the preferred port on the East African coastline? This channel has been dredged to a depth of -15 meters and widened to 300 meters at its narrowest point to enable the port accommodate larger vessels. These facilities make the port of Mombasa one of the busiest ports in the world for handling grain import aid cargoes for the World Food Programme. On 100 acres of reclaimed land is under construction with a total berth length of 900 meters. This will expand the port's container handling facilities to accommodate the latest generation of container ships and increase handling capacity by 1.2 million TEUs annually.
We've had so many stories about albinos being hunted for their hair, for their saliva, for their nails.
Unraveling the myths and misconceptions of albinism in Uganda.
It is a genetic condition. It is caused by the lack of one enzyme, tyrosinase.
Our members have died of skin cancer. and many people want to just attend that burial ceremony just to witness.
NTV gets to grips with the reasons why albinos are being hounded out in rural parts of the country.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji and Brian Mulondo.
Welcome back. We now join Simon, who is at the Kampala Serena Hotel rooftop for today's big story. Good morning, Simon. Whom are you speaking to today?
Morning, Mabel. Indeed, welcome back to this special edition of Morning at NTV, which we aptly call The Big Story, where we bring it in perspective, that story that is trending as it was some kind of hunger pangs, literally government aided, were scrapped, and instead a nominal fee of 4 shillings has been introduced to cater for their meals per day. Now, of course, we'll be asking questions of 4,000 shillings for up in arms demonstrating against the decision by the University Council. Will they succeed? Or William Abel, who will be, for the most part, putting this into perspective and telling us from the students' perspective what their next course of action is. We'll be right back. You didn't get no pictures yesterday. In April of this year, students of tourism went up in demonstration. 2 months had withdrawn their services, also showing some form of discontent and demonstrating against the university's administration. Discussions between welcome, Lydian Abar. Am I pronouncing your name very well?
Aber.
Aber.
Yeah.
Well, there we have it. Thank you very much for the correction. You're the Vice Girl President of Makerere University. You're a student of Communication Skills and Literature, and you're going into your 3rd year.
Yeah.
You're now hit with a situation where you have your voters demanding for certain rights. You are in administration, and this decision has been taken, and now you are joining them in demonstration. Bring us up to speed. This morning, what's the situation in Makerere? From there.
Situation in Makerere is still the same. Students and we are still on strike. However much we are seated, but today we're actually mobilizing more numbers.
Oh, wait a minute, we're not going to be accused of to put your grievances in writing for their cost of student demonstration. That for the most part we do them on whatever was.
See, the police themselves are parents in Makerere.
To you as students, you know the nature of the Vice Chancellor.
We always look for him actually. He will listen, but what university? Not because students in Makerere University, when you talk to your dad and you can't be heard, you get out and the Makerere
are not causing mayhem. You're not stealing coffins from the neighboring areas, breaking into so that leadership skills are very seriously that you live to regret the reason you even went that direction.
Demonstrations and you get out of campus. That is what the outsiders take advantage, and they do that. You know, our lectures, they don't do that. I really don't think that. Yes, he is, but I've never seen that in my regime.
Shillings is going to handle your meals per day, which is a normal. As eons of operations, there are now. Who knows that you will make quite a big quick back and turn? Because one thing is for sure, you're moving privatization, and there seems to be no turning back.
You see, I said as well, catering service.
Outsource this service, but as emails of the day, and take that, takes a fed on time and the like. But what was this
money? So. You know,
leadership that we have in this country, since you're a student leader and you're people who are willing to break barriers, people who are willing to take risks, people who are willing.
It's supposed to be done the old way, you know. And have one human being think you will speak the same language.
Then you were born after 1986.
That's true. Country. If they are this system of kneeling down and praising the government and asking someone to again come back for another term, I don't think it's really very absurd.
Well, we're moving.
You see, we always say that young people are the future leaders. When will the future come? When? Very, very funny.
You asked me a very interesting question.
Very
I was
funny.
born way before 1986.
You are supposed to be the MP of your constituency now. You know, I believe you speak the right word because you know what can you change this to avoid challenges that might come.
Makerere think I am MP material for my constituency.
Sure.
But I don't think General Moore on this one. That you do not have, holds and clearly you can see that they are.
My only challenge with I think the lecturers are not motivated. Like it takes it takes a very big process.
Still calling on many of your very own to come down and join in the demonstration and all that. What is the way forward? Where do we see an end in sight for this situation?
One thing I will have to assure the viewers, we are going to do as much as possible to secure the future of these first years who are coming. You know, they are telling us, you know, this is not going to affect you voters. It's going to affect you because you're a continuing student. The policy won't affect you. But, you know, Makerere says we build for the future. So you shouldn't look at only having the continuing students, yeah, being protected. How about this one who is joining? I might have a sister, I might have a friend who is coming in.
Or even a child, because I know some of you students
yeah, it happens,
coming to university.
Yeah, it happens. So what we can assure people, I can assure you, we are going to do our best. We will not open the university if this is not reversed. And parents should, you know, the problem is some parents just don't listen
or sit back
to their demands, and this is what happened for the 60%. The student leaders are there, some of the students are there, and we are willing. They can assure us of the quality. Well and good, we shall support that.
Lillian Abel, Vice Guild President Kampala. The looking zone on the ground. This begs the question that Makerere University, not only being an epitome of academic excellence, should be the place where innovative, administrative and people management modules should be generated. Now, when you find an institution like Makerere unable to run itself, given its proximity to, you know, all these modules that are supposed to guide in management of society, one asks themselves, then where in this country shall we have some kind of administration that is worth looking at if the university itself is unwilling or unable to manage and give itself and the people that it interfaces with on a daily value for their presence there? Where else shall we find redemption, or where shall we look at and say this is the place where we can borrow a leaf and possibly transplant the same best practices here? I mean, if you are an institution that is supposed to be the malpractices of bad administration this morning, up to the building which you claim to have, you cannot claim to be the ivory tower, the epitome of excellence, the whatever of everything. And at the end of the day, the greatest level of restraint, even as you is property, for the most part, are just that. And now the words of lead, you who've got other grievances against other things, you also do not know how much this is waiting for you out there. Of course, indeed, talking about state agencies, for example, the police, indeed, we do commend you for so far ensuring that you what is possible. If there is a need to cock up some management, well, somebody who has got the whip needs to crack it up. Have a good morning, keep it productive, and of course, for you Makerere University students, we can wish you the very best, and God bless.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji and Brian Mulondo.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat. Follow the beat. Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat. Follow the beat. Follow the beat, follow the beat. Follow the beat. Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Kafeba na NTV ate naddala mu bantu tusanyuka kati tubongereddeko 210.
And the NRM from this.
Many think that they've actually been frustrated.
Opposition polled its coalition of different, more divided internally than the FDC. The advantage with the NRM is it has political power.
Analytical.
I think that one of the best organized political parties in Uganda is the PPP, the People's Progressive Party with Ansali. This idea that everybody is telling around the world that Africans are poor and they cannot contribute to their own political and social emancipation is crap. In fact, I think that the opposition parties in Uganda have to win an election in an unfair and unleveled ground.
News Night with Andrew Mwenda.
On the next episode, brought to you by...
At Orange, we know you want to do more on the internet. That's why we bring you happy hour day and night.
Destiny River.
Blessed Mother Mary, in the name of God, the Father Almighty, I beg you.
She'll come back.
Yes, they will.
Destiny River.
Lord, movies.
Sepp Blatter gives a 9th Africa, and I'm sure we'll see it continue to the World Cup. Argentina team of the tournament that I thought I would share. We have as well as Vla. We have Schweinsteiger instead of Messi. The golden ball. This is James Rodriguez story today, and McCary talking about
fine people. Lilian, good morning.
Morning,
Thank
Brian.
you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
I hope, as far as the CV is concerned, I'm doing well.
You are doing perfect.
And before we go on, tell us about CV People Africa. What's that about?
Okay, CV People Africa we are recruitment specialists, and we are big in Southern Africa, but just started operations in Uganda this year. And so, yeah, so we specialize in recruiting people. So we have the recruiter, who are the people who are employing people on one side, and then the job seeker. So we have products for both categories of people.
Right. Yeah. What makes it hard for people, in the work that you've done, for people to write perfect CVs? What goes wrong? Do we get so excited and then we get lost in the money? So as long as they can give me 10 million, I'm up for the job.
I think a lot of it boils down to not researching. Many times we do a CV, a one-size-fits-all CV. And what I mean by that is basically do one CV, throw it around, 150 recruiters, and hope to get a job. I mean, it's like, who is it that we are targeting? What competencies and skills that particular person throwing around your CV, but you actually require
particular skills. But they prefer, because we've seen people who have tried their luck and
still there are things like customer service, sales, customer focus, or customer oriented.
Yes.
We as recruit manager, geology, rather than listen, I want you to highlight for me, yes, I have done this and this. Yes.
Personally. And when you tell me come for an interview, and I'm thinking I'm not going to deliver the key for as recruiters at the interview.
Before you appear, what are their strategies? But in the jobs, it's good. Our cultures have their strengths, and we need to hit in the eye. Did you ask me questions?
As overconfidence, and some.
There are people who will come in and by being at this interview. So
anything in the cover letter, this guy has what it takes.
It's sort of like that. It's like that door. What wrong, and it's just not in context. But really, what it should. And so then your CV is at the CV.
Right.
Yeah.
We misunderstand the jargon play in this.
Jargon really is a time customer centric, but then you are relating it to community service. So when you are coming for the interview and you ask, okay, so what makes you feel you're the best person for the job? I say, well, I understand for community service, these are the things that you need. And this is how I've demonstrated them, even in my previous job.
Yeah.
And so that is what we look for. How can you transfer that skill to whichever it is? But it starts from preparation and you knowing yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Lilian Bagambe, Country Director, CV People Africa, here with us this morning. Most of us has probably spent about 5 years walking the streets looking for so much that we have become bad, might be too confident or arrogant. At Twitter at morning, doesn't that send a message to you for the past 2 years? Why were we going to find out? So I might as well.
Don't mention it. We'll be processed. We'll be able to
right.
Yeah. Ourselves. We have a very below the age of 30, and they're like, going instead of you dictating where you're going with. What are your values? Whether it is their strengths. There are times when we do with half a strength.
What?
And you also understand what your weaknesses are, is that you're targeting. No, the job.
Yeah.
We have been blessed zeroed to Facebook and research. Now, once you have done those two things, then much really works against people. There's so many voluntary jobs you can be doing in the meantime. And so when you're talking about those volunteer jobs on your CV, you're talking about the skills you acquired by doing those things.
Yeah.
Even if it means go and clean the babies. Right. Yeah. So action, action, action. Finally.
I like the word. The emphasis is action, action, action. Regardless of how long you've been on the streets, you can do something this morning. Well, we'll probably want to define what a standard, because I also know there are European CVs. I've seen one where it's quite different. What do you consider?
What do we consider?
Yeah, like, for example, I know people who write their CVs, they start with their personal details, then go to education background, then go to work history. Other people have done the reverse. Is there a particular order that you write the CV?
I don't think there's a particular order. Some people prefer it, experience first, others education first. As Ugandans, the thing that strikes you and makes you move, the key with this period to this period. So going back to the order, it's about your, because it biases some. You don't have to tell us your age, because if you tell me you're highly energetic people and you're telling me you're...
No date of birth.
You don't have to, you pictures and all those things.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Very, very, very tight in Uganda. 83% of unemployment among the young people. We churn about 400,000 people out of university every year, but there's only 90 jobs for them to compete. Yeah. If you cannot create your own job, well, I think it needs that you sharpen your resume writing skills.
Exactly.
And I hope that you have learned something this morning. Head over to Facebook, Morning at NTV, and tweet at Morning at NTV, and let us know. If you have any questions, we'll get Lillian on the social media site, and she can answer your questions. Starting by is Isma. Obviously, in football, there's no CV writing. You have to play it on the field. And it looks like Messi is one of those people who are like, this golden ball is just useless. It will never add anything to my resume. It will never come back.
Probably it comes after you retire. You only write that when you're done. Yeah. But many
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Mulondo.
Yes, Towakana with 1 million shillings up for grabs every day. Kagwida Woku Airtel send of the day's 5 lucky winners. Sport.
See, never follow Kubanamagoy. Abasinga, but
follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat. The beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Vote for their name. As long as the voters exercise their rights to elect their leaders around this event, is the IC code.
But I swear, orange does hashed.
I think, Brian, you starts with probably your club being able to put a win, because probably they are relating with the and then won the Euro. But above all, can the German? I think they have the world in Manuel. They have players who have been together for quite and win the World Cup in 4 years' time. That's it. You could almost won the Euro in 2008. I never competition in 2 years' time.
I've seen it in Spain, so Germany may come down. So when
one of the
things joke
plan that they set up in 2004.
Other players mean business.
The easiest way to look at
he's out partying. So when will he be on top of
this? The easiest way to look at this, the best players in the world work the hardest. Yeah. I know Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo work harder than anyone I've had in work.
Thierry Henry used to work harder than the rest of his
than Lauren Meyer, than probably Pascal Sigo.
But they used to work.
Yeah.
They are horses. After training, they stay extra hours. Even in our trade, the one who works hard does.
I once read a story about David Beckham that I'd always admire about him. On every single day, he took over 100 free kicks just to make sure that when he took that one in a match, it would go in. That's
those were Ivory Coast, the ones they scored against the nation, but nothing for us. Let's talk Commonwealth, you know, out of the local sport. Let's talk.
Because in Uganda, we're used to having accidents were done. So the summer is no longer.
And all those, and those to be there.
Usain Bolt is going to be Tom Cleverley with probably Michael Carrick on his last legs. They need another player in that midfield. But while that was reported that they were going to sign for 35 million, this morning I saw reports that United are actually pulling the plug on this move because they think it's too expensive for 35 million. And actually they would be smart for me not to sign because that's a lot of money. It's really a lot of games at Juventus.
And they're getting more money. There's this thing, Adidas, Nike, they have now switched sponsors.
Yeah, after
so they're getting more money to buy more people.
Exactly, and I think United are going to spend a lot of money because of where they finished last season. Yeah. And we all know that after 13 years of working with Nike, they have a new contract with Adidas, which is £70 million a year for just the kit sponsor. It's amazing. It's obscene kind of money to be giving a team that finished 7th, even if United.
Worried about United. I'm
Van Gaal.
actually worried.
Does he have anything to do with this, by the way?
I think for Vidal it does. For the signing, probably. But there's got to be a lot of optimism because when United signed this deal yesterday, when they confirmed the deal for 70 million, immediately people are buying. And actually, there was a report on Adidas website that over the time they'll be working, that also had the two teams that played in the World Cup final, Germany and Argentina. And these are big, big victories. And actually, the silver lining from Luis Suarez, despite everything is done.
Yes. Have we said
now? If they went on a totally different thing, this would be totally Chelsea. This Kadira is a very, very good player. Yeah. I think for me the bigger worry I think for the Arsenal should be that how they get him fit and get him playing for the Arsenal regularly. They have already signed a team. They are right there with the best in terms of the title.
Ron James, be talking.
The other hand, you're expecting, but until the child is actually there.
I've never understood why you don't want to find out the sex of your child. What's that about?
I'm still as conservative. Brian, I'm very conservative. I wouldn't want to find out.
Why?
I want to find that surprise from the nurse.
So you buy chicks
from the midwife?
Baby, like you buy
pink and blue, or you buy yellow.
I prepare the money and don't buy anything until I see the baby and know the sex. I think that technology has taken away the thrill. We are no longer communicators, me and Mabel, because we have this WhatsApp, we have this Facebook, we have all these things. We know the sex of the child probably at 1 week. Why the thrill of living life and expect that surprise is gone, and this is part of it. This is part of not buying the dress.
I want to plan.
You can plan by having the money ready.
They get into a boy's room. Not
plan by putting the money aside for what? Plan should not go as far as buying a dress. Going well, about 16 days now. Enjoy.
All right, we want to say, of course, have a fantastic day. Bye bye.
NTV with